Hey everybody, it's Heather Vickery. Have you taken our listener survey yet? If not, pause the podcast, head on over to www.vickeryandco.com/survey. It'll take you 2 or 3 minutes, and it really helps me get a better understanding of who my listeners are. We want to make sure we're giving you what you're looking for and having a collaborative effort here on this show. Everyone who participates gets to have a say in the charity we are supporting via the survey. And also, if you choose to leave your name and email address, you will be entered to win a $100 Visa gift card, as well as some other great prizes that are specific to the show. Again, that's www.vickeryandco.com/survey. And the survey will be live until August 12th. So be sure to check it out, share it with your friends. They have to be listeners, of course. And thanks so much for the support. Okay, here's the show.
Community Design Empowerment.
You are listening to The Brave Files, real stories from people living courageously. You can listen to the show anywhere you enjoy podcasts, and we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on Apple Podcasts. It really does make a difference, and we appreciate it. Now here's your host, Heather Vickery.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Brave Files. This is your host, Heather Vickery. So I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about doing something that could maybe actually change the world? Something bigger than yourself? Something that could have a long-standing impact on your community? Well, today's guests, Chad Husar and Ernie Berlin, thought the same thing, and they took it into action. These longtime friends wanted to see more businesses take a stand against poverty, and they knew that they had just what it took to do that. Together, they launched a company called the Lost Format Apparel Company. It's a socially conscious clothing company. And I am telling you, I cannot wait to talk to these guys. I've known Chad for a long time. Ernie's a new friend. This is the first time I've ever had 2 guests on the show. So it's going to be a little different, and we're all going to learn together. But Chad and Ernie, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thanks, Heather.
Really, really excited to have you here. So Chad, you and I have known each other for a really long time, and you kind of like secretly launched this entire very cool business right underneath the noses of all of your friends. Can you guys tell us a little bit about how you came up with the concept of Lost Format?
Yeah, so it goes back, Chad and I have been friends for like 3 years at this point. And we were always trying to figure out a way to do something together, like just start a business, do something that we both really love to do. We weren't really looking to, make a lot of money doing this. We both have jobs that support us, and we're very, very lucky with that. But we wanted to do something bigger than that, find a way to help the community in a different way. And we kind of started brainstorming. We live in the city, so we see the problem with homelessness around Chicago. And this was all going on in the wintertime. So at first, we thought about, why don't we try to figure out a way to do a clothing drive just to get the necessities, just bare necessities that people need for the wintertime in Chicago. Hats, gloves, socks, whatever we could possibly get together. Chad was at the same time headed to a volunteer fair to help the homeless. And at this point, we started kind of brainstorming together about, well, if we can figure out a way to make clothes and then donate items based on our sales of those clothes, can that work and can that help people in a bigger way than, we've thought of before?
So why clothes? Like, how did you come up with that?
Well, we thought those were the like driving around and looking what's happening in the city. You see people freezing. Chicago has really, really harsh winters. So we just wanted to help in the way that we saw what was happening directly in front of us. It was really, really simple for us. People are cold. Why are they cold? They're living in the streets. How can we help them? So we thought clothes, this is something that we could benefit from while we sell these clothes. Then we have these clothes ready then to give away to the people that need them most.
Okay.
It started
right.
simple with clothes because, like you said, that's just what we see. That's what the direct need. Over time, it's evolved a bit from there with what is actually needed, though.
So like what? And it's interesting because you say that. So I totally, as soon as I saw that you were up to this, I went straight to the website, and I happened to have my 13-year-old with me. Y'all know you're attracting a younger crowd, right? Old ladies like me, 43-year-old. I'm like, But my kid's like, Mom, that shirt's really cool. And she now owns it. So there you go.
Cool.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, the products are beautifully made, and they're very cool. We can talk about that in a second. But they're not big down winter coats. They're not the kinds of things that homeless people are necessarily needing. So, I mean, I'm
Right.
just curious, like, you could have raised money to clothe these people in lots of different ways. So why this?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. The reason why is because we thought that we could develop this stuff in a way that not only for the benefit of donations, but also stuff that we really wanted to do, stuff that we really wanted to wear.
Cool.
I
like that. So it was just something that you were passionate about.
Yeah. Chad has, a background in design. So we were really knocking out a lot of these things as we went along, designing this kind of apparel. Chad got the opportunity then to start exploring, his field of design, and got the opportunity to start putting designs that he's thought of onto our actual clothes, which then grew, organically for us.
I think that's fun. I really do love the product. Your site is beautiful. None of that really surprises me, knowing your backgrounds in design, but I was really impressed when it came, had this cute little box of nerds in it, all this fun. Yeah. It was very cute. It was nicely presented. I'm curious about the company name. Where did that come from? Lost Format.
It's it means a lot of things to us. It wasn't just one specific thing. We started with the concept of, and this goes a lot into our business model and how we want to operate, of having everybody involved, from the consumer to the people we're helping to the production line, is just a community feel that we feel is like has been lost. It's just not really there anymore. Getting a lot of people involved from at every stage of the process to help those most in need. It wasn't profit driven. It was about letting people and giving them an easy way to help the community.
I love that. I don't think you answered how you got the name Lost Format, though. That doesn't tell me. I love it. So my next question on my list is, tell me how the company gives back to the community and brings the community in, which you totally answered that. But really, like, what's the name about?
It's really about just, well, it also goes into our design. Our aesthetic is heavily influenced by 80s design, which in itself is a lost format, the way that they did design.
All right, I got you.
It's
simple shapes, simple designs, like colors that go well together, but they like have some contrasty pop to it. So I always thought it was cool. I always liked, the 80s where technology came to be, and video games and computers came, and they would need to like hire these amazing designers, and you're like, all right, go. You get to work with some rectangles, maybe a triangle, go. You're like, oh my God, what do we do? So they started like doing cool shapes and designs and colors together that were like not standard, and kind of like the basis of like how I think the whole decade came to be.
Yeah.
So
that
was fun. So,
I also took when we had this idea, I was like, what are we going to do? Like screen print these? I don't even exactly know what that is. So I initially just took a screen printing class and learned this.
Oh, that's fun.
And then just even that whole process has all these limitations, which I think is really, really fun.
Are you printing these yourself, Chad?
No, for production, we're sending them off to screen printer because it's huge. They have like a whole warehouse to be able to do this. We're able to make some one-offs and things like that in-house. But for, we're ordering 300 shirts. We have someone else.
Are you keeping
the whole team?
The stock? Like, do you guys have like a little stock room where you go and pull when somebody places an order?
Yep.
Do you really? So did you know it was me? Did one of you know? Chad?
But Chad doesn't know.
Right? Chad, were you like, oh, look, it's Heather's order? So I got nerds.
Super excited. Everybody gets nerds. We should
Everybody gets nerds.
I know. That's fun. I wondered if you could tell or not tell. The product is so pretty. It's really soft, and the gold foil or gold print is awesome. So I would love to know, how is it going so far, and how are people reacting to it? Have you gotten the community involved yet?
Well, yeah, in a sense, for sure. It's been we started this over a year ago at this point, and it's been a very, very long process to do this, much longer than we thought. but just like everything else, you just got to at least double your time of what you initially think it's going to take. A lot of product testing, just a lot of ordering, sampling, finding the manufacturers, finding the right contacts. It's been a very involved process. And along the way, though, you meet a ton of cool people and a lot of awesome organizations that are doing the right thing. So yeah, we partnered up with an organization here in Chicago to help with that, and met a lot of cool people that want to help out just because of what we're doing. So yeah, it's been good.
So great. I can't believe you've done this for a year and we're all just finding out about it.
We've really been launched for maybe 3 months or so,
Okay.
Right? So yeah, that's kind of, a year of kind of development and figuring everything out. We had a website, but it was kind of just always in a beta phase of just playing around with it. But yeah, about 3 months ago, we were like, this is solid.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go at it.
So I am curious, what are your long-term plans for the company? What's your big picture vision here?
There's a lot going on here. We're constant. The business model has changed and grown and evolved so much since the day that we started.
Yeah. Tell us about that a little.
Yeah. At first, like I said, we were figuring out a way to make this a donation drive. And then we decided, let's make these clothes, let's sell them. And then let's give one for one. We sell a shirt, we're going to give a shirt. Let's sell, a hoodie, we're going to give a hoodie, whatever it is, just.
And is that what's happening now? Sell a shirt, give a shirt? No.
I mean, we still want to do that, but not in that sense. So we partnered up with organizations, and what we found out is sometimes people don't need shirts. They don't need socks. They don't need one thing or another. They need something specific. So we've partnered up with an organization, and then they give us a list of the items that are most needed at that time. Then we donate those items based on what is actually needed instead of, doing the one for one thing.
So it might be a shirt, it might be some socks, it might be a bunch of toothbrushes. Whatever's needed is what we want to be giving.
Right. I love that. My kids' school does a community drive around Thanksgiving every year. And they always remind us it's usually food, so it's not clothing, but personal care items are a really big deal, right?
Right. Yep. And we've developed those kits over here. We have personal care kits that we put together as a separate drive that we're trying to do as well.
Cool. Hey, I have a question. My partner and I we both travel a lot, and we always collect the toiletries from the hotels and typically donate them to a women's shelter, which we could still do. But if that would be helpful to you, I can make arrangements to get that stuff over to you guys.
That is super awesome. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Because all those go directly to the charity.
That's so great. Yeah. I mean, anything we can do. It occurred to us a long time ago that all that stuff goes to waste. And I think from what I know, the travel sizes are really necessary because these people are moving all the time, right? And moving around and
carry it on you, have it mobile, helps.
Exactly. I love that. I read something in the Chicago Tribune that really connected with me, and I'd love for you to share it with the listeners here. The idea of redefining the concept of what home means. Can you speak to that?
I mean, it's really difficult, especially in this climate to really find just the right place to be able to, grow and develop. And you see these people that they're on the streets. There's this new concept of small homes that I feel like, if we could talk about that, that are allowing people to build small places, small spots within people's yards or just in places where there's a lot of space available that you can get a big amount of people into while providing the comforts and necessities of a home for a very, very small amount of price. With it's not a gigantic amount, and you could provide those necessities to get people back on their feet, which I think is the most important thing. Is it only gets worse when you're homeless. It keeps piling on. It's super expensive to be homeless. It's you lose everything, and then you can't get a job because you don't have a place to go back to. You don't have a place where you can go wash up, clean your clothes, get a hot meal. You don't have that anymore. So everything just keeps snowballing, getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I think to me, it has a lot to do with community too, which are basically like your network of people, which is family, friends. Like personally for me, if everything just goes bad in life and falls apart. Like I have some family, some close friends I could always like as like a backup source. I could crash on a couch or whatever, and you end up like, okay. But if you don't have that, what do you do?
Yeah. What do you do?
A lot of times that's the difference between,
a community, someone to support you versus
yeah,
not.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. It's all very interesting. It hits home for me. I lost my cousin Scotty 2 years ago, August. He's about 6 weeks older than me, and he suffered from a number of things, but PTSD. He was a veteran, some other things, and a little bit of paranoia.
Sure.
And he chose to separate himself from his family and went to live and spent the rest of his life. This was, 3-4 years before he actually passed away, in a shelter for veterans. And I'm so grateful to them. Ooh, it gives me the chills, for caring for him. But, he didn't feel safe anywhere except for there, which is such an interesting concept to me. That was where he felt protected. I think he maybe was afraid he was in danger. I don't know.
Sure.
Right.
Sorry, total downer. But the idea of hearing that, of having a place to go, and these shelters are so important, and access to them. And it reminds me too, you talk about not having a place to go home and shower and clean up for a job interview. The same with like a phone number, right?
Right.
How somebody's supposed to call you back. And I last year, I was at a restaurant with one of my middle daughters. She's little at the time. I don't even know if she was 7. And there were some gentlemen next to us talking smack about the cell phone policy that Obama had put in place, where you could get one if you didn't have a job, if you were on food stamps, if you didn't have a home. And they were be like, what do you need a cell phone for? If you blah, 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 like, what a waste of money. And I turned to my kid and I said, let me tell you why they might need a cell phone. She's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, no, you have to have a way to be reached. If you don't have a phone number, you can't get a job. If you can't get a job, you can't get a phone. You can't get a home. You can't get anything.
Right. Yep.
And these social services are so crucial.
Big time.
Yeah. What's been the most difficult part of getting this started for you?
It was just it's a giant endeavor that, we were kind of walking in blind into. It's just, there's a lot of risk in all this, financial risk, personal time risk is just, I have a family, Chad's got a full career, so do I. It was just, it's a lot. So going
kind of like starting my podcast. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure.
I mean, from a risk at a time and money investment it is, but what you're doing is so cool. Sorry.
It's like, what do you want to do after you're done working your full-time job? Like, how about do another full-time job?
Right.
That might not work.
And then add kids to that. Ernie, you said you have a family.
Oh my God,
yeah. And, time away from home, time away from them, it's been a full on thing, but it's, at the end is just so super rewarding. It's, you wake up every day and you're super stoked to go into work. There's no dread. It's just, you're loving what you're doing. And it becomes a really rewarding thing, regardless of the risks involved,
Yeah, I totally do get that. That is how I feel about my show. I'm excited to spend my extra time, my free time, my personal time on this project. So
that's great.
Glad everybody's out there listening.
We definitely had some like awesome late night work sessions with me, Ernie's wife, Ernie's son, and like talking about stuff. We're like hitting like this badminton around the room. We got a Nintendo in there.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, this is all right.
Yeah. My very first job out of college, well, not my very first one, but my first real job, the one that I actually did for quite a while, was for the American Cancer Society. And I worked with people my age, and I worked all the damn time. We had meetings at night. It was a nonprofit job. We were planning events, but I'm hanging out at bars with a bunch of other 23-year-olds 6 nights a week. So it was pretty fun work.
Yeah, totally.
I totally get that. What would you say has been your biggest pleasant surprise?
Chad?
No,
my answer is Chad.
Oh.
I mean, there's something to that. Like, we're working with Ernie's one of my favorite friends. We've like had a blast just being friends, and now we're like this is our work, and it's been really cool to do that. We have another guy on the team too who's been an awesome friend, and one day realized that he's also an awesome writer.
Yeah.
And
Score.
yeah, I was over at his place for a game night, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, can you read over my application questions for the Onion?" I'm like, "What? You write? And you write funny? Oh my God, you're good."
Did he write your
wonder
copy?
if we can do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost all the copy that you see on the site was done by him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering what it's like for each of you to have your own business and family with this monster side hustle. How do you get it all done?
I'm fortunate enough that, after in my business that I had previous to this, and still do, it's a well-oiled machine. It runs itself. So I'm able to have a little more time away from it. We have employees, we have managers, and we have a whole business structure in place that just, it operates and operates well because it's been going for so long. So
Nice.
I'm able to step away and expand and do something else at this point. And it's been a privilege.
It's cool. Chad, what about you?
I'm single. It helps.
Yeah, but your job is can be very time consuming.
It's time consuming, but it also is flexible.
That's
because
true.
we work ourselves. We can always just work another hour later if we take this one to do this.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. And, having, it's almost like replacing some of your social time with this, but it's been fun. So it's worth it.
Yeah, I got that. We're not trying to be secretive. If you want to know their careers outside of Lost Format, you can go to the show notes and see their bios, and we'll link you up to everything. But that for the purpose of this show, we're just talking about this really cool project that company, it's not even a project. I mean, it's huge business, beautiful business that they've launched. So I want to know how each of you celebrate success, big and small. I mean, when this thing finally got off the ground, what did you do at each little sale when you're like, let me go grab my box of nerds and get this shit packaged up? Like, how do you celebrate that stuff?
Well, we recently just had our 1-year anniversary a couple months ago, and we just blew right by it and didn't even know it happened.
Well, now I can't have that.
So
it's good. It's
a good thing. Let's celebrate. It's late, but who cares?
Yeah.
Just do something. Yeah. Toast.
We've been so involved in this. Things have been moving so fast. I don't mind the fact that we missed it. We turned back a month later. We're like, it happened a month ago, and we've done so much at this point that that in itself was amazing to us. That we missed it, and we just kept going, and it was great.
Yeah, it's a super huge reward that it's been going well enough to miss something.
It's an interesting take on it. I'm a big fan of celebration. If you've listened to the show, I just think there's something really powerful about honoring the things that we work really hard for and that finally come to fruition for us so that we can keep that mojo going, that momentum flowing. Sometimes, burnout is real. Both of you are entrepreneurs, that. Yeah. And if you don't stop and go, damn, we did a really good job.
We did make up for it. We did go on a motorcycle camping trip. We both ride, and that's kind of how we met each other, sharing the love for motorcycle riding. So we did end up going on a motorcycle camping trip to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
We brought the family, so it was
very
good.
Cool. You guys have some pictures? We put them up on the show notes?
We do.
Cool.
Lost Format goes camping. We have it.
You have to share that with us, and I'm sure you're sporting all of your fabulous apparel. That's great. So as we come to the end of the show, one of the things that I do in every single episode, and I really love it, is ask each guest, and you can each answer separately if you want, what your favorite charitable organization is to support.
I think both Chad and I have been developing this relationship with La Casa Norte in Chicago, that we've been full on with them for the last almost year at this point.
Is this a homeless shelter?
This is, yes.
Okay.
This is a homeless just organization. They provide housing, they provide just all the necessary social services, everything that you could think of for the homeless community in Chicago. And they've just been really amazing with working with us. They opened their doors. They provided us with as much info as possible, and kind of just showed us what was going on and what the problem is and how we could help and what we can do as a business to help them and just to help the community. And it's been super helpful. We didn't think it was going to be this, I don't want to say easy, but just they're so forthcoming, just about everything that's going on. And they're just so eager to share that with us.
I
And
mean, authentic need will do that for you, right? When
yeah,
you truly deeply need something, allowing people to come in and support you brings full vulnerability and full honesty, I think.
yeah. And the founder, Sol Flores, just want to mention, just so full on, and she has so much passion for this that, I think a lot of the success of La Casa Norte is because of her drive.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should interview her.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, you guys can connect me.
Blow you away.
Yeah.
Please make an introduction there. I love that.
Make sure it's not right after ours, because there be like some buffer or something.
Oh, come on now. I'm finally getting a little banter. I was looking forward to having you two. You're hilarious.
Sorry. Yeah. Apologies.
Oh, don't be sorry. It's good. We're all business. Now we're loosening up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's all good. No, you guys, all of my listeners out there, this is a great opportunity. We do this every week, and I ask you each and every time to check out the organization. At the very least, go look at their website, see what they're up to. If you have something to give, either financially or any other capacity, give it. If you can donate time, do that. At the very least, share it with somebody else. And, this is a local Chicago organization. And if you're not in Chicago, we have listeners in like 9 different countries, but there are homeless people everywhere. So find your local organization and do something to help, because that's the only way, was it love is fire. You have to love your neighbor, right? We have to do that together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Count on you. So it's the thing, right? Go do the thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, one more quick question. Normally I end with charity, but at any point, or, do you guys feel brave in this project? Do you feel like, hot damn, like this is a big deal. We did this. This is brave.
I think I wouldn't say that we personally feel brave. It's just, but the business itself, doing something of this magnitude, it's just a brave endeavor. It's a huge risk, money, time. It can affect your friendships, your relationships, but it was worth it. It's rewarding every single day. So yeah, I guess.
That's cool. If there's anything, I'm just going to throw out there that I can do, that my family can do, if you do some sort of community event or anything, please make sure you let us know so we can
for sure
come out and support for sure.
We're working on that. We're excited to get something going.
Can you tell the listeners how they can check out your stuff, your apparel?
Yeah, we're at lostformat.com, and our social media is Lost Format. So Instagram /Lost Format, Facebook /Lost Format, Twitter as well. We're everywhere.
You guys got to check their stuff out. The product is so super cool. My teenager was geeked. She was like, I like this one and that one and this one. I was like, okay, wait, mommy's out of money.
Yeah. The teenager needs
that's awesome.
Let's just
huge
get
allowance.
The teenager needs a job. So, yeah. All right. Well, so to take us out on the show, can I get one of you? I'm going to see if Chad can pull it off this time to share 3 words with us.
Community design empowerment.
Community design empowerment. I love that. And I don't know you to tell me if this was your intention or not. I love that design is there, and I love that it's in the middle, because you're not just designing clothing, you're designing community.
Very true. Very true.
Cool. And empowerment as in what? You're helping empower the people that you're supporting?
Right. I mean, and that was kind of from the beginning, our whole business plan and the way that we structured everything. We wanted to empower not only the people that we're helping, but our shoppers, our customers, easy way for them to help out with the community without really doing much. People need clothes, consumers need clothes. Every time they buy something, it's super easy to help somebody out. The other businesses that we're working with, we've opened up a whole new business structure where we're allowing other businesses to co-brand alongside of us. So to empower other businesses to, if they have a product, if they have a brand, if they have something that they want to make into a shirt, we will do that for them. And then we will sell it. And then those businesses can start helping out, because a lot of people don't have access to a clothing line. It takes a lot to make this happen. But here we will do that for you from beginning to end, and everybody benefits from it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were doing that.
our biggest goal of empowerment is like growing a little bit for us so that we can start employing people. Like we want to employ people that, are homeless and trying to get out of this. So, for distribution, design, all kinds of things. Like we've met all these awesome people along the way, and we hope we can like be able to have them work for us and build themselves up that way.
I love that. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
That's our biggest goal.
Right.
Hopefully soon.
That's awesome.
It kind of ties back to, the question of what is home and community. It was always our intention that, once we do have a bigger setup running with a storefront and a distribution center in a bigger space, to have that space used as a social service space for them after the operating hours, and a place for them to be able to wash their clothes and get a hot meal and take a shower, just have all those available within our space, because that was the whole point. It was about bringing the community together in every possible way to have the biggest impact on what we see every day here in Chicago and across the world, I guess.
You guys are awesome. This is such great work.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Honestly, you guys out there listening, Chad and Ernie remind us that each and every one of us has more to offer. We have more than meets the eye, and any single one of you can go out and do something powerful to make an impact on your community and the world at large. So I challenge you, this is my challenge for this week, my loyal listeners, to consider one way that you can help build your community and make it stronger this week, and go out and do the thing. Do the thing. So Chad and Ernie, thank you so much for being with us today. I love what you're doing. I love your products. I'm going to find ways to work with you and help promote and share the word. So thank you so much for being here.
You're so awesome, Heather. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
All right, you guys, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening and supporting. If you like what you're hearing, do me a favor, share the show with a friend and help spread the word. I truly appreciate it. This is Heather Vickery reminding you, as always, to choose bravely. The Brave Files is proudly supported by Lost Format Apparel, a socially conscious clothing company. You already know that homelessness is a huge problem. Over 500,000 Americans are living without shelter, and millions more without consistent access to everyday basics. My friends at Lost Format know that solving homelessness is a much larger problem than any one company or person can solve on their own. It requires teamwork, sacrifice, strength, and building communities through personal and professional relationships. And isn't that exactly what the Brave Files podcast is all about? That's why I'm proud to say that the Brave Files has partnered with Lost Format, and together we're working to change the face of consumerism in addressing homelessness. You can now get one of 2 fantastic shirts custom designed specifically for the Brave Files. Each order goes towards providing necessities to the homeless. We have one shirt that, of course, says choose bravely, and another that reminds you that brave is always greater than fearless. Head on over to vickeryandco.com/store to see both beautiful shirts and to check out the entire product line from Lost Format. All of their stuff is super soft and comfortable and has an amazing fit. Use promo code BRAVE to get 10% off of your Brave Files custom t-shirts. And if you have an order over $30, your shipping is free. I choose bravely to take the plunge to help solve homelessness. Are you with me?
Thank you for listening to The Brave Files. Be sure to visit thebravefilespodcast.com to access the show notes and discover fantastic bonus content. Music composed and produced by Matt Lewis of Union Music, LLC.
Special thanks to our editor and audio mix expert, Andrew Olson. I am eternally grateful for all that he does to make each week sound so fantastic. You can hear more of Andrew's work at findandrewolson.com.